Hello, fellow traders. 'Tis I, the Rumpled One, coming to you Monday, April the 20th, the year 2020. Let's talk trading. Trade only what you see. Now, I've got Walmall on the line, fellow traders.
Hey guys, hope you're doing well today, and hope you have a profitable day.
Yeah. Now, the reason, I usually say trade what you see, but since Walmart and I have been trading together, and we have different brokers, we don't see the exact same thing. And so he might see something, but I don't. So I can't really trade what he sees. I can only trade what I see.
Yeah, that's absolutely right. I mean, give you an example of that. TRO was talking about earlier, saying, it's about to hit the pivot point. And I'm saying, no, it's not. And the reason why is because my broker has a full day of trading on a Sunday, whereas his doesn't. So my pivot point for today is in a totally different location. Now, tomorrow, our pivot points will line up perfectly. But today, on a Monday, they don't line up at all. And he's saying, it's going to run into trouble here because it's about to hit that pivot point. I said, what pivot point? So we got to go and trade what's on your chart.
Yeah. Now remember, fellow traders, these videos are for educational purposes only. Your results may differ from mine and Walmall's. Trading is extremely risky. You can lose all of your money. If you need trading, investment, or financial advice, seek the advice of an accredited financial professional. And also, boys and girls and non-binary traders, remember to have your money and risk management in place. On the risk side, don't lose any more in any one particular trade than you're willing to lose. In fact, Walmart can tell you that from recent experience.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, I had made my goal for the day, and what happened was, normally what I do is when I hit goal, I trade a full position until I hit goal. Once I hit goal, I knock my position down to a quarter of that. Well, guess what happened? I took a loss, a 9-pip loss, and lost almost my entire goal. And so I then had to go and trade to go and make that all up. So if I had only traded about a quarter loss, I would only had to go and make up like 3 pips. Instead, I had to go and make up 9 pips.
Yeah.
So yeah, trade what you can. Trade what you're supposed to.
Exactly. And as you can see here, there was one of these Australian pairs, if I remember, last night hadn't filled the weekly gap. But that's filled, so weekly gap traders, you got paid on the, let's see here, looking at where things are sitting with the year, day and week, we're up a whole 2 pips. We're down 163 for the month off the open and 342 for the year. We're still putting in the opening range for the week, that first day of the week candle here. And we're at the inside bar. From 8 days ago on the daily, no triggers, nothing triggered yet. On the range, we've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 pairs, over 100 pips with the euro clocking in at 55, and the pound clocking in at 83, and the dollar yen clocking in at 55. So it looks like the markets are settled down. We, on the buy zone here, I need to switch this back over to the H1. You can see we took out that pivot early in the day. Oh, that's dollar Canadian. Let's go back to the euro. And we took out the pivot here. You can see we crossed it this hour, and we're now 9 pips above the pivot. And on the rat zone, you can see I've got the smart rat and the regular rat here. And smart rat traders feasted. Actually, smart rat, red rat traders feasted earlier, a few hours ago. And then the green rat traders just got done feasting just a few minutes ago. On the pivot, I mentioned that weekly pivot yesterday at 108.90, and we took it out. So anybody who watched that video last night and did the pivot trade, you got paid. But remember, these videos are for educational purposes only. And in and out of the wick zone here. Right now we're in between wick zones. And that one trader, I hope you got to watch the video where I showed you how you could use the wick zone to get what you needed. Now back to the Wall Mall trade. That long at 60 paid off, didn't it? Wall Mall.
It certainly did. It was paid off well, and glad I took the trade. But yeah, it just once again just shows you, that it can't range, within 10 points, and like right now, if you're looking at the range of the euro, it's 18 pips. Well, if you get the lines 10 pips apart, that means that you're going to come out 8 pips. One way or the other, you're coming out 8 pips. Maybe 4 and 4, and maybe 1 and 7, and maybe 8 and 0. But you're going to come out those 8 pips. That gives you opportunity.
Yeah, and we didn't take the short at the 50, did we? I know I didn't.
No, I did not take the short at the 50. And it just, my reasoning behind that was, what's the title of this video again? Trade what you see.
Yeah, only trade only what you see. Yeah.
Right. And the problem was at that 50, what I saw was, I just saw it having a lot of trouble there. And because of that, I didn't take the 50 trade. And because it did, and also on my chart, it actually just touched the 50. It never went through the 50. So again, I was trading what I see. It didn't get through to the other side. I wasn't going to take that. And good thing I didn't, because, at least on my chart, didn't really materialize into anything. If I would have just said, I'm just going to go and trade it because, it touched it, I would have got myself into some trouble.
Yeah, and the reason I didn't take it is because if you look at the chart, there wasn't that many cross and close belows. So even if you go down to the M1 level here, you can see that it crossed below once and it had some closes below, but it was like, nope, if that sucker crosses, it's not going to close below. There was more action between 50 and 60 and 60 and 70, because if you look at the chart here, let me put it back to M15 so you can see it a little bit better here. And let me expand the chart. You can see all this action right here between 60 and 70, and then right here between 50. So I was thinking, nope, there's really not much action down here. This was for previous day, so I'm thinking, nope, I was just basically being a green rat. I think I've been a green rat the whole day.
Yeah, you have been. Which is good, because that's part of the way that you trade. You're trading what you see with what makes you fit in. And I think that brings us to the next point of trading what you see, is that each and every one of us see things differently because of what our perspectives are. So you got to go and trade with what you see and not what somebody else sees. And that's why I think, you got all those guys out there that run signals and all that stuff. And a lot of people who go and buy those signals, they're losers. I'm not saying they're a loser as a person, but they wind up losing because they're trying to trade what somebody else sees, and that doesn't necessarily work. You got to trade what you see, what's comfortable for you, and what you see the market doing based on the market conditions and how you set up your trading plan.
Yeah, that's exactly. So, some people say, well, according to your rules, you should have gone short at 50, but the rules are guidelines, which are sometimes in the matrix, some are made to be bent, some are made to be broken. And the thing is, it was, if I remember correctly, it was just in the rat zone here. And it's like, why would I go short in the rat zone? It just, in the green rat zone, to me, it's against my nature to do that. Now if the daily range had been something like, say, 20 or 30, the rat zones, you can't even trade a rat zone. So even though it's in the rat zone, there's not enough range for the day for the rat zones to be active. That's when I could trade, because I'd be trading away from the open when price is near the open, relatively near the open. But you can see here, this is where all the action is. You see, you got one little breakout here and one little breakout here, but just price is just ranging between 50 and 70, and it's been doing that for a while.
Yeah. Now, if you see something, I would take that trade if I saw something convincing to me that, hey, that range has been broken. Now I'm trading what I see, because let's say, for instance, the price now comes all the way back down through the 60, down to the 50 with lots of momentum, breaks that 60, follows all my other rules. Well, now, you know what? I'm trading what I see. And I'm not, it's not just going up there, butting up against it, and just bouncing off of it. So, again, it comes down to your number one rule is trade what you see.
Right.
It's got to go and pre on everything else.
Yeah, for some strange reason, my chart it's like it logged off and logged back on. I was just trying to switch over to the M1 so I could show. I think there was another reason I didn't trade that 50 short, because on the hour chart there's a one ball there, but I think on the 1 minute there was a three ball being put in, and for some reason my charts are frozen, so I'm going to pause the video until it unfreezes. Yeah, okay, I'm back. For some reason a computer froze up, but you see here this three ball and this one ball or two ball here. This is why I didn't take that short at 50, because see, this is what I saw on that chart.
And I do not have that in my chart, and that's why that wasn't a reason for me.
Right, so now looking at here, we just put in, did you go short at 60?
I did.
Okay.
It's going against me, but that's okay, because, that's what happens sometimes.
Right. And see, once again here, this number, when this was a 50, it just didn't have the percentages. It's like, nope, it's against me. So having these real-time stats also helps me, because not only do I trade what I see, this will confirm it. So I'm thinking, well, that doesn't look right. I can look at numbers and I can trade using the numbers. Trade by numbers, paint by numbers. I think that just dated me. Did you do that when you were a little kid? Paint by numbers?
I did.
Yeah.
I did. It was a kindergarten thing, I think.
Yeah, so now boys and girls, I've got the TRO HL5 up here 4 times on this. I've got it for the H4 daily, weekly, monthly, and I'm just showing the high, mid, and low for the current day, and then here's the previous day, and the grayed out lines, that's the previous day, week, month, or H4. And I mentioned the M Shiner before, and you can see here how price just seems to like to go to these spaces here and just, cut right through these spaces. Now, sometimes it doesn't go all the way, but eventually it seems to when it puts these lines in. And we're 5 pips range this hour.
Yeah, this trade has gone against me pretty well. Gone against me. I'm considering getting out because I'm down short pips at this point. I'm not sure if I'm going to stick to it or not. I'm trying to contemplate that now as we're sitting here on the video.
Yeah. Well, the candle's green. The H1 candle is green. And that's another thing that I found out. We'll probably talk about this next time Walmal's with us. Timing is everything. And sometimes that we trade is better than other times. I like certain parts of the hour, and Walmart likes different parts of the hour. So, once again, you have to kind of know what works for you. So, and once again, this is like the fastest 15 minutes in trading. So remember, fellow traders, it's not what you trade, it's how you trade it. So go out there and drain the banks.